Going. All right. Welcome back to Marnie's Marketing Mondays. Today's a Q&A, so your questions are welcome on pretty much any subject you think I know something about. So whether I know about it or not, I might be able to point you in the right direction. So who'd like to go first? Carolyn, you said you were with your kids. Do you want to ask your question first, or?
Well, I just saw the email, so I need to formulate any question that I might have. I'm
Okay.
good. I wanted to kind of join and say Happy New Year, and if I could come up with something spontaneously. So I'll be back on mute right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. What about you, Judy? You have any questions?
Oh, I always have questions. It's just a matter of getting them up to the front to ask, I guess. Nothing specific comes to mind. Just still looking at like scheduling and not over I don't want to say over planning, but not getting stretched too thin with different things that I would like to do. So I guess that's time management and having a specific strategy that I'm going to lock into. And I'm trying to give myself grace, as this is only the second week of January, and I've been looking at what I was doing this time last year and what has been eliminated this year. And that frees up some time, but it also means, okay, what I want to hold on to and what I want to create as new. And I guess the newest is to do the coaching.
So your coaching is a priority for you then, right?
Yeah, it really is. I think that opens it up to maybe writing another book, and I think that's the key, the foundation for the whole year. Yeah.
Okay.
Marnie?
Yeah.
Would she be leading into her coaching with her book? When Judy was talking, I was thinking, oh, marketing strategies is a good topic, like marketing coaching or marketing whatever. Like, how do you market so that you attract people to your products? Like a marketing plan, or like Judy said, kind of a strategy.
Right. So taking your book that you've already got and using it to market your coaching, and then eventually you might make another book and use it to market more coaching and all that. So, so do you have anything in place right now? I know with the book, you lead them back to your website to get to your free audio, right?
Exactly. And and you need to hold me accountable to this. I've got 3 people trying to hold me accountable and I still avoid it. If anyone has gone into my website to purchase the bundle of Woman in the Mirror that I did, they would have paid for that. And I have no way at this moment of knowing whether anybody's done that or not, because I think I haven't set up the PayPal correctly. So that's at the top of my list to do this week, is to go to PayPal and say, what is it that I've got set up, and has anybody bought that program? Because if they have, then I committed to a Facebook page for them to go to, but I couldn't even tell you at the moment what the Facebook page is.
And well, the easiest way, the easiest way to find out if anybody's paid is just log into the PayPal and see if there's any money in there. That would be the easiest way.
Well, I went into it and all I'm seeing is money that I have paid out. I'm not seeing what anybody would have paid in. And I think you told me years ago that and I may be wrong, it might not have been you, but since you and I connect on all these things, that PayPal would first take the money out. Well, I know it was you because that PayPal the program was $79. So if Susie bought the program a couple of years ago before it was perfected and paid $79, that PayPal would, the next time I wanted to buy something with my PayPal account, they would use that $79 towards my payment rather than sending me the $79, because I don't think I had it set up as a separate income PayPal account, or that it went into my checking account. Am I explaining that right?
Yeah, it's going to use the funds that are in there. When you log in, there's going to be a screen that has the activity going down the right-hand side or the main part of the page, and up at the top of it, there's going to be a link that says payments received. And when you click that, it'll show you what anybody has paid into your account. So you can see if there's been any purchases and who they were. And then if you click on the person's name, you can get more details about it.
Okay, well, then I didn't know that tab was up there. I need to look. But I do remember it was you who told me that, because we were talking about how this Susan had signed up and bought it, and I didn't know it. And I think you said, well, sometimes PayPal doesn't notify you when the money is in there or when somebody's bought something. But in theory, they send you an email saying,
yeah,
Susan
you should get an email.
just done. Right, and I wasn't getting that email. I don't know whether it was getting blocked or whether they didn't send it. So you and I had a very thorough discussion of what I needed to look out for.
Yeah, so just log into the account and go to the payments received, and it'll show you what you've got there.
Okay, well, that makes it sound easy and takes some of the fear or hesitation out of it.
Yeah, really easy, not hard.
Wouldn't it be nice to open it up and find out there was lots? Because I know I've sold some books, and there's nothing there that says that I've sold any books or.
Well, it wouldn't be in PayPal. That'd be over in Amazon.
Amazon, yeah. And see, I don't have anything from Amazon that any payments have been made, and I don't have anything from PayPal. So
there's a little bit of lag with Amazon, and usually if you have a bank account tied to it, they'll just stick it into the bank account.
That's what I was trying to do. I used to be afraid of giving them my bank account number, but I've had to get over that. So, because you have to sell a certain amount for them to send you a check.
Right. Yeah. Once it hits a certain amount.
Yeah.
I have thought of a question.
Carolyn?
Not to interrupt. You guys keep going, but just letting you know I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you ready? Okay. Okay, Marnie, you've got like lots of different things going on. You know, you blog and you do classes and you do multiple things. I'm interested to know how you keep track of, like, I look for patterns, like I create my own little thing, but I'm interested to know how you keep track so that you just get up every day and you do that day's thing and then you have a life. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, because I know you're spontaneous, but you're also organized. So do you have a calendar or?
I use the Google Calendar to put things in. Like if I have a client who wants her statistics on her Facebook ad updated every week on a Dropbox or something. Then I'll put something in my calendar like Friday morning, do that for, Susie Q or whatever, put that in there. So those kind of things I do. If I'm teaching a class, those go on my calendar. I have clients that I do the same kind of thing for all the time, like updating their Facebook and their social media and checking their ads. And I just have like a routine of going through and looking at their stuff, make sure everybody's got some posts going out. And so I kind of have like in my own head a routine.
Okay.
And I'm getting to the point where I'm making a spreadsheet that has what each client needs and make sure I check it off, because it's starting to get when your life gets more fun than your work, then you're like,
yes,
I don't have anything to do. Yeah, I can't, So that's something that's on my to-do list for this week, is to take everybody's stuff and stick it on a spreadsheet so I make sure I'm not dropping any balls. Just but yeah, it's just a combination.
Well, it's nice to hear that there's that kind of joy in your life right now. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So
I'm glad for you.
Thanks.
I'm wondering about I'm trying to find a pattern in what I'm doing. I'm seeking more inspiration to know. I don't do well blogging just like off the top of my head. Sometimes I do, but there's no order to it. I want it to serve my people better. And I have niched down or just gained clarity that my target market is people who have experienced the ripple effects of divorce, mistreatment, abuse, and addiction. And when I really wrote that down, that's really what I've wanted to do all these years, but it seems really heavy, but it's also very exciting because I know that I can teach them the foundational principles that they can create change. I know that. I have no doubt. So with that in mind, I am trying to look toward 2018, and I don't want to start blogging with something that just doesn't I don't want to waste my time. I want to start reaching my people, if that makes sense. I don't want to just blog to blog. I want to blog to help create change. So I'm kind of looking for a pattern. If I had a series of what I was doing in my mind, then I would be able to blog more consistently. So
yeah. We did that last week.
Do you have any blogging? Okay. I missed last. I'm here in Utah, so that didn't work out for me.
Yeah. Let me see if I have that. I can send you the recording of that, or we could go through and create 10 for you. Let me see if I can find that. Because I did that with the people on the call. We took their subject and we went through it with a spreadsheet that I have. So or not spreadsheet, but like a Q&A type thing. Let me pull that up.
Well, I was thinking that I did come up with a yearly thing. This year I wanted to talk about adversity, but with a positive twist. These things are heavy, but that's what people are going through. It's like there's so many people with hidden heartaches or childhood abuse or things in their past, stuff they don't know how to get past.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm pulling this up for you here. Well, you can keep talking, but
So what would be the one of those that you would want to focus on? I mean, I know the umbrella is woundedness, but
yes.
You're talking about several different areas. So which would you want to focus on first, and how long would you want to focus on it, and how narrow or broad would your audience be? And I'm going to put you back on mute while I roll my cart.
Okay.
All right. So what is your main goal? What is it you're trying to sell right now? Is it coaching, consulting? What is it you're...
Well, right now I'm just working on my class still. It's taking a little longer because I've been inspired to include a little more, which is more substance. So
how many people do you want to have for 2018? How many people do you want to have take this class?
Okay, let me think. Okay, this is going to be an always available class. So most of my other classes will have enrollment periods and will be a membership, like a repeating membership, where I will coach within the platform. But this one is just a standalone.
So how many people do you want to have take it for the year?
I think a minimum of 100, and I'd love to have 1,000.
Okay, so we'll say 100 plus sales. All right, so let me go.
And it doesn't have to be like the first time I market it. This is something I see marketing like
ongoing. Yeah, you'd have to.
Like 6 times a year, or more. I don't know. What would you recommend?
Constantly.
Like once a month, or just
constantly.
Always?
Constantly.
Okay. Well, then I could have more. I don't know.
Just have it a part of your constant offering. Okay.
Right.
So
okay.
How many? I mean, your ideal clients? You said they're women.
No, men and women.
Men and women. Men and women who have
experienced the ripple effect of divorce, mistreatment, addiction, or abuse.
Okay, so the main challenge, how does that show up for them as a challenge in their life? What's it doing to them?
Well, they have hidden heartaches, like most of these people are codependent, but they don't know it. So they have enmeshment, boundary problems, trouble connecting, they're unhappy, they're actually heartbroken, they're in hiding, they don't want people to know what's happened to them. Makes me sad when I talk about it. It's hard.
All right. So the solution you're offering is, what's the name of this program?
Revitalize your inner worth. Get out of the sludge. And sludge is like every letter stands for something. And this program helps them elevate their thought patterns, habit patterns, and family patterns. It's more specific to tools that help them get out of their circular thinking, ruminating. They're stuck. Really stuck. Like a lot of people say, I'm just stuck, and they don't know why. And they don't realize that often comes from having a limited sense of who they are.
And what makes you uniquely qualified to help them with this?
Well, let's see how many years. I have been studying this for 40 years. I've worked with Ron, but this isn't Ron's stuff. This is mine. So let me think. Mostly it's my life experience. It's how I was able to process my own, how I was able to rediscover my own identity and control my own, and help my family members to live beyond their limitations.
Okay, and what are the 3 main benefits they're going to get from it?
Well, it's too vague to say elevate their thought patterns, family patterns, and habit patterns. So, well, this is too vague, but they'll be able to understand what's happened to them, why they're feeling stuck, and what to do about it. That needs to be more specific, though, I'm sure.
So what does it give them when you understand what happened to you? What does that give you?
A new perspective that they're just thinking of the program. It gives them a new perspective so that they feel empowered to do something about their problem. It's like people think that it's never ending. They feel like it's just the way it is. They don't know that they have the power within them to create the change they're looking for. They don't get it. You know, they get stuck in their, come on, Achilles, no. They get stuck in their victim stories. I love this dog. Stop it. Shh, no. Empowered, like from within. I don't know. Stop it. You know, it helps them like overcome their hopelessness. You know what I mean? Like the empowered is opposite to feeling hopeless and like there's nothing that can change.
Okay. All right. So, how much are you charging for your program?
Well, I've discounted it to like $59.95. I may change that price because it's really getting to be a beefed up. But normally it would be $129. But,
129.
Yeah, it may go up. I mean, on the page right now, I have that it was 129 discounted to 89, discounted to 59 as an introductory. But it depends when I actually get the PowerPoints up and how long it is. I may raise that.
Okay, so what do they need to know before they would work with you on this? What is some knowledge, or do they need to understand they have a problem? Are these people even aware they have a problem? How would they identify it? What do they need to know?
Well, I can just tell you about them. I don't know what you want to put right here.
But, these are the blog ideas. This is where we're going to come up with 10 blog ideas based on the things they would need to know before they would work with you. Let me see if I can show you mine to give you an idea. Let me see. These are the ones we made up for Judy. Why it's important to have somebody who believes in you, that your value in God's eyes was one. Worthiness versus worth. You're responsible for how you feel. You get to choose. It's okay to co-create with God. Self-care is not selfishness. Ditch the guilt. Balancing taking care of others with taking care of yourself. Your relationship with God and yourself must be a priority, and kind of that concept of love your neighbor type thing. And then some newsworthy posts about, working off that hashtag Me Too thing. So those are some blogs we came up with for Judy.
So I don't see when you put that list up there, I'm trying to connect needing to know that before working with her. Or is that what she does teach when they do work with her? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we were giving them like a little taste of what it would be like. Let me see if I can find mine.
Here's well, by the way, your Me Too post was pretty outrageous that you have on your page.
Mine?
Yeah.
You talk about the video, the woman with the video?
Yeah.
I thought she's pretty good.
I mean, that's what I would like to say, but
nobody's.
And I thought it's pretty outrageous. I thought the timing of it was good after we had talked about that hashtag last week.
Yeah. So here's one that I came up with for mine. Like I'm promoting some Simply Healed ongoing client type thing. So what energy work is, what it's not,
right.
How to select an energy practitioner to work with, why would somebody need more than one energy session? Why can't you get it all the first time? Typical ways small business owners sabotage their success. Are your fears and past mistakes holding your future hostage? Is it possible that other people's stuff is holding you back? Kind of looking at generational stuff. Is your body giving you clues? If so, what are they? You're procrastinating your business. What's procrastination telling you? Affirmations versus afformations. What's the difference? And then kind of energetic shielding. What is it? How can it help you? So these are things that just get people kind of pre-educated about it.
About you. That is more about, well, some of it's about them. And some of it's about selecting an energy practitioner working with you. Golly, all these interruptions today. Okay.
I think when you're looking at doing a list of blog posts, think about just having a conversation with someone you really like. Think about emailing them. I think that people sometimes think that blog posts are supposed to be something else. I think it's relationship building.
Yes. Well, yeah, they're intended to connect, right?
Right. And
what I'm thinking is, I don't know, but what I'm thinking right now is if I'm reaching out to people that have had ripple effects from these situations, then maybe blogging about what those ripple effects can look like.
Okay, good. There you go. I don't know why we've
got
such a
and then inviting them to call to action would be to get the class or the videos or whatever I'm going to call them.
This could be like 10 signs you might have a boundary problem.
Mm.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
I mean, you don't have to use 5 or 10 specifically. I'm just.
No, but yeah, just a number, like, yeah. Because that intrigues people to want to read. Wow, that is, you know, the codependency is so big. And I know that when people really know who they are and act accordingly, that they're not codependent anymore. But codependency is so tricky because it's a person's way of being, and it looks like you're just being kind and caring.
So you see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of looking at the words you've got up here and how we could turn it into something.
Yes.
Words you've got up here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
How to tell if you're in circular thinking or something like that? Because I don't think a lot of people. You know, what's the difference between healthy self-analysis and circular thinking that keeps you stuck?
Right.
Does that help?
Yes, of course it does. Thank you very much. You're going to send me that doc?
I will. I'll send it to you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really helpful. You probably taught me something similar before, but over the years, you gather so much information, it's hard to get it so it's so boiled down.
Yeah. Donna, did you have some questions?
Not questions particularly. It's interesting because someone asked me what my 3 priorities were for 2018, and I thought a minute, and this just came out. Number 1, top of the list is me, self-care. Number 2 is balancing family care and the home. And number 3, and this one really surprised me, which is to build a strong local platform.
Cool.
Yeah, I after doing 2 presentations and presentations at 2 separate libraries the first week in January, you know, when I asked the universe where am I supposed to be speaking, it's like the next day I got 2 speaking engagements at 2 local libraries, and the response was wonderful. And then I did book signings at a local flea market. I mean, who would have thought? And what it ended up being, and I really want to suggest this to everyone, is it ended up being market research, because I was able to engage with people that would be driving, walking by and finding out what might be something that they would need in relationship to mind shifting. And one of the things that came out was that the age range was far wider. It was a much larger age range than I expected. I had a 16-year-old girl and then a 17-year-old girl, not together, from different families, come in and said they were dealing with anxiety. And the second one, the 17-year-old, said anxiety and depression. Her body language was like this. It was like this when she came in. And I said, okay. And I did some mind shifting exercises with her right there, just a couple real simple ones. And when she left, she was standing up straight. And it was really wonderful. Gosh, I think that I wanted to be closer to home in relationship to Mother and my husband. So if I'm going to do that, then why not build a strong platform?
I love it. That's a great idea. And then you can get out and speak, and people can benefit from what you're doing. And oh yeah, that's a big market, though. Teenagers and young people. I mean.
Well, our county has the highest percentage of retired than any county in the United States. We're 38% retired. Average is 8% nationwide. Florida is 16%. We're 38%. So I was surprised to get the full range, and people are coming to me. One of the women who heard me speak actually wanted to be a coaching client, but yet it's interesting, but I hadn't turned around to close her because I was unsure exactly what she needed, because based on what she told me she needed the high-end, high-dollar ticket item based on how stuck she was. So I need to figure out exactly how to frame that. Maybe that's what you can help me with. Somebody says, I'm really stuck and I really like the mind shifting, and come up after talking about I did the healing effect of the mind is what I did in a presentation. Led out talking about the stroke, and then talked about the fact that our mind is like an iceberg with what we see, our successes, what happens is like the top of the iceberg, and everything underneath is everything else that happens, every single thing. And that's our unconscious mind. And our unconscious mind is a perfect recorder. It's just a lousy playback system because it only plays back that which has been anchored with highly charged emotions. So we need to start charging as in energizing positive experiences so that they will surface quicker. Oh, and I came up with a new mind shift exercise, by the way. It's a quickie. Would you like it? It's a quickie.
Sure.
Right now you have right in front of you a flat screen. I'd like for you to imagine that in front of you at all the time is a flat screen, is an invisible flat screen to anyone else. You can close your eyes and you can project on it the energy that you're experiencing. And in fact, this is the one that I did for the young lady who said she was stressed and having terrible depression. And her depression was so heavy. And I said, well, put that on the screen. And then what I want you to do is, it's just like a touch screen. You understand a touch screen, right? Who doesn't at 17, right?
Yeah.
She said, sure. I said, what I want you to do is I want you to reach over to the left and touch the screen with your two fingers, and I want you to just swipe it away. Just swipe it out of here. It was funny because when she did that, she like stood up. It was like all of a sudden she was in control. And I said, now what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to replace it with another screen. I'd like for you to think about a time when you had the most wonderful experience. Can you think of something that gave you great happy? Oh, yeah. And I said, just close your eyes and think about that for a moment. Describe it to me. What were you wearing? What did it feel like? What was the temperature? What did you smell? Really anchor that. Now project that onto your screen. I want you to understand is that it can be in reserve. Anytime you want to get rid of the crap that's in front of you, you can bring that one in. When you swipe away the other one, the wonderful one comes in. Anyway, that's
It's cool.
My husband loved it. I mean, he doesn't even like touch screens, and he thought that was great. So anyway, I think the local is huge, and
you get more PR for local too if you do free classes or free speaking things.
And this coming Saturday, I'm going to be at the local author fair. They invited me to come to the local author fair, and in doing that, I went by the administrative office, and I said, "Tell me about the authors, how it was last year." And they said, he said, "Oh, it was so grungy." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, they just didn't know what to do." And I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll be happy to do a workshop for the authors." This was 10 days ago, and so I did it this past Tuesday, and I called it the 7-second shift. Because when we're working a table, we only have about 7 seconds when somebody comes by our table to either get their attention or they're going to go on by. So you need to figure out something to do with that. And I created a marketing package and shared with them what you need to do when you're working a table and figure out what you can say in 15 seconds that will attract someone's attention.
All right, well, tell me what that is, because this Sunday I'm going to my Richmond Christians Who Write group, and the next weekend we are being pushed to go to an event where the authors can sell their books, they can go to workshops, and I don't want to go because I think that let's say you have 50 people there and everybody wants to sell their book. Well, who's there to buy the book if they're all authors? Because authors are very stingy in my experience. They don't usually support each other. So, I know you're talking about an audience that's different from authors who come up to the table, but what do you do in 15 seconds? Regardless of whether it's an author or whether it's the friend who comes with the author and you want to tell them what you do.
What I suggested that people do is sit down and write out a 45-word explanation of what is the most important thing that you have to say. Then when you get it down to 45 words, cut it in half, because you need to figure out what that is, what that very special thing is. And interestingly enough, I really expected that I personally would be best to just set the poker platform aside, and the woman who insisted that I come to the flea market insisted that I bring out that first. So I actually got up and created a handout that said poker, pro, and mindset coach, mind shift coach. So what is mine? Mine has to do with I stand up. I'm standing beside the table, and I don't try to peddle the books. The important thing, Judy, is to get out of the mindset that you're trying to sell a book. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing is taking something heartfelt to people that can help them improve their life, can help them to relieve pain, whatever it is, whatever that key is. What is it? You tell me, Judy, what is it that you do? In 15 words, what is it that's important to other people?
Unmute. Wait a minute, here's my line. I am like the key that unlocks the treasure within you to show you are valuable in God's eyes.
Okay. So what comes out to me is you're valuable in God's eyes. And that's what comes out, rather than saying, I am the key, you're valuable, and to show you how. I would lead out with, "You're valuable in God's eyes." And you can test that and see where people go from there. Something that really says they are valuable. You are valuable. I tell people continually that our body is our vehicle, our mind is the driver. Too often we spend our time as an unwitting passenger. And that seems to be something that creates a conversation. I guess that would be one that I would do in a 15-second. Marnie?
So you're also trying to open up a conversation.
Absolutely, honey. You're not trying to sell a book. I want you to get that out of your head. Get that out of your head that you're going there to sell a book. And as far as other authors, what I do with other authors is I'll trade books with other authors. I mean, I learned that 40 years ago as a speaker in the selling home study courses, and we're talking about courses. My course sold for $495, and I would trade my course to them so that we traded stuff. You never know what somebody else has. We ended up having 250 courses that we had traded because there's something in everyone's. And what happens is if you become proactive for other authors, you're going to find that other authors are more supportive of you. So you feel like you're alienated right now from other authors. Just think of it as a platform, some way that you can take advantage of it. Forget about trying to sell the book.
Well, I always try to buy other people's books to be supportive, unless it's a topic that's just so totally removed from what I would be interested in. But like when people come to our group as speakers and they may have a table full of books, I make a point of buying at least one or two, even if I never read them, just to be supportive. I find that other people just don't. And I don't know whether it's because of finances or what, but I just think, like you're saying, authors ought to support other authors. And I love your idea of trading.
Yeah, trade. I mean, frankly, I've ended up with a lot of crap from other people. I mean, that's just it is. So, I got one book that was given away. A woman was giving this away at a conference that I was at in November, and I actually ended up sending her 2 copies of my book because Bob Proctor is actually one of our coaches, and she said she wanted Bob Proctor to see my book. So I said, I will send you 2 copies, one for you and one to give to Bob. But the trading, I think, is good. Yes, it's, people can say supportive if somebody's there and they're there with speaking and then they have their books, that might be something different. I wouldn't go up to a table when they're there and I'm not and say, here, let me trade the book, because that might be inappropriate. But anyway, I just want you to find that trigger. So Marnie, what would be your 7 seconds, or what would you say in 15 seconds?
You mean on Judy's book?
Well, let's start with you.
Oh, me. Oh, I was too busy thinking on that trading. If I was going to trade, I would do it strategically, like on a book that I thought, hey, this is a cool one that if it's good, I could promote it to my people.
There you go.
I would trade that, and then I would promote it and tag them in it, and then hopefully they're going to reciprocate. Hopefully, a certain percentage of them might do the same thing. I don't know, but I would do it not just willy-nilly trading.
Sure, and it's not a case of, it's not wholesale trading. I never did wholesale trading. Which is what you're talking about, willy-nilly, and just, I'm trading anybody's book. I would always approach someone about it.
Yeah, handpick them.
Yeah.
7 seconds on one of my books. Is that what you're saying?
You.
Or me personally?
You. Yeah. if you were there and you had your books or something about energy work, let's say energy work, and let's say you're promoting you as a coach, as a mentor, as an energy worker, what surfaces as I'm saying that? What comes to the top? What's the cream?
I don't know, but you're saying you're not selling anything. You're saying just you come at it from their perspective. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you got to, because you have such a, here, you want to buy my book? No, I don't care if your book is,
Right.
It's got to be something that is engaging. It has to be something that engages.
I think I'd say something like, do you feel like you're here to do something important in life? Do you, are you feeling stuck when you try to do it? I don't know. Just ask them a question or something like that.
Yeah, and
get them talking.
And that's really good. It has to. I think it has to be something that is along the line of what you're talking about. Something that would be interesting to them.
Yeah, like do you feel like you're really here to make a difference in the world, but you're kind of at a loss at how to do it and how to move forward with it? I don't know. You'd have to have
do
the
you
right
ever
audience of people for that. You can just
and actually, what happens is that your mini, I don't know what to call it, that 7-second shift, something that you can say in that shorter period of time that can people used to call it elevator speech, but it's got to be something that is enticing. The problem with using an elevator speech is that people just spew it out.
Yeah.
And it just comes out without that. So
yeah, I might convey the idea that if you do, then where there's desire, there's power to do it. You can do it.
Okay, that really was a trigger. Whatever, it's because if I like that.
Where there's desire, there's power. You can do it. Whatever it is that you really want, you can do it if you have the desire to do it.
Yeah, now that's strong. That's strong. If you lead out by saying, "Do you have a problem?" people are going to go, "No, I don't have a problem. I don't want to say I'm weak." But lead out with something that's. But oddly enough, I was just playing with what worked, and your body is a vehicle and your mind is a driver. Was people would go, "Yeah, that's interesting," and something that's a. So Judy, what triggers?
What do you mean? What triggers?
What triggers? What came to mind as we were chattering for you to use?
Well, when you give a presentation, I have been taught the first thing you do is ask a question. So Marnie just did that. Mm-hmm. She, if I understood it correctly, she was saying that she would ask the person something that would be relevant to them personally. And she and I have just discussed this so many times about why a person does not feel valuable. And I've even put it on Facebook, and people just don't seem to open up, but maybe one-on-one they do, or if the question is asked correctly, like the way Marnie just did it, I thought was really well done, and I would be drawn into what she had to say further. So that's what I'm kind of tossing around, and mine's definitely heartfelt and pain relieving.
Yeah, on social media, the questions you ask are kind of different, I think, than maybe, I don't know, that a total stranger that walks up to you at a booth, you can be any more vulnerable. I mean, people don't want to answer super vulnerable. Your question has to be able to be yeah or no kind of thing on social media. And then if they want to get all vulnerable, they can. But if you ask something that requires an involved answer and it requires getting really vulnerable, I don't think most people know how to do that. They won't do it. But if it's something that doesn't require an intense amount of vulnerability, I don't know. I've got
This is a
I've got
good
to
question
run at
for
the top of
Carolyn,
the
too.
hour, though. Yeah.
Bye.
All right.
I've got 3 minutes and I've got another consult, so I just want to give y'all a time frame. So.
Well, thank you, Marnie. This has been really helpful today, and I've enjoyed Donna and Judy's comments. And
Thank you. Local platform. Local platform. You know, I always thought you had to be 50 miles
I
away
was
before you could be a celebrity, but then I realized that was a limiting belief.
questions at the end off record to come up, but we'll do that another time.